What's going on, Nerd Squad, and welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. Quicksilver is making headlines all over the internet since the final days of WandaVision. He's been a fan favorite for a long time in the comics and in live action, and while there have been some missed opportunities with the character and what they've done with it in live action adaptations, there's still quite the array of stories to tell with many different versions of Pietro. So here to count down 10 dark alternate versions of the Silver Speedster, I'm Taylor McWatters, you're you, let's dive in. Kicking off the list at number 10. Brother Pietros. The year is 1602. After a time-traveling experiment went south, we have yet another timeline, but this time we're on Earth 311. This is not a great time for supers, because back then, if you knew Bedmaz, they would be like, oh, you're for sure a witch. Definitely a witch. See ya. And then, do some horrible stuff, some not nice stuff to you. So when mutants came around, that's the ultimate evil in their eyes. They were referred to as witch breed, which just sounds like a roast right off the bat. And they were hunted during the Spanish Inquisition. So if any witch breed was found, they would be taken to the Grand Inquisitor, that world's version of Magneto. So Pietros and his twin sister Wanda, who was a nun, considered these witch breed a gift from up above. I mean, obviously, if they can float and do crazy stuff, yeah, it's a gift. Let's do it. These guys should rule the place. Quicksilver's role was pretty ideal. See, his job was to run very fast and deliver mail back and forth from King James I and Count Otto von Doom. Service rates do not apply, because the whole 1602, you got it. I wonder who's faster at delivering mail, Brother Pietros or the postman from Zelda? And before we go on to number 9, if you guys could go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, that would be great, because those clicks do wonders for our channel. Thank you so much. Now back to some more alternate versions of Quicksilver. Number 9, Pietro MAXIMOFF, Earth 616. We might as well continue this list with a nice little refresh on our main Quicksilver in the 616 universe. He got his abilities after being kidnapped from Serbia, and he was brought to Wundagore Mountain, which acted as the base of the High Evolutionary. And his sister, Wanda Maximoff, aka the Scarlet Witch, was his twin, and they were both tested on when they were just wee little babies. Horrible. And then once they got their superpowers, they got the hell out of Dodge. And it wasn't until they were much older when Magneto came along and recruited them to the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. They were originally going head to head with the X-Men until they joined a much better team at Avengers issue 16. Number 8. Marvel Cinematic Universe. Pietro MAXIMOFF also had a pretty tragic origin in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, mostly. At just age 10, the twins were in their apartment in Sokovia when a shell collapsed their building. This was the reason their parents had passed away, and then the second shell that hit, however, didn't explode. Rather, it left the twins to just sit there and stare at it, horrified that at any second it could go off and take them out as well. Now, of course, they grew up with a different mindset towards the Avengers, and this led to them being experimented on by Baron von Strucker, which was the opening of Avengers Age of Ultron. That was the introduction of the twins as villains, or temporary villains rather. Unfortunately, when it comes to super speed, even Quicksilver can't avoid danger, and he ran in front of a rain of bullets by the time the end of the film rolled around in order to save the life of Hawkeye and a young child. And right before he falls to the ground, he says, "You didn't see that coming," the same line that he said to Hawkeye an hour and a half earlier when we first met him. Yeah, he only lasts one movie. I think Marvel should smarten up. Number 7, Zombie Quicksilver. In Marvel Zombies, Quicksilver is part of a group sent to Earth to battle the zombies, but when he comes across Scarlet Witch in danger, he runs over to help her out, only to find out that it's actually Mystique in disguise. And then before he can even react, she bites him, which now makes him a zombie. The fastest guy in the world is now a zombie. And if there's one thing that we know in 2021, it's that viruses can spread quite fast. So now this is a nightmare situation. So he used his incredible super speed to turn everybody into zombies all around the world, just like that. Quicksilver getting infected is what escalated this problem to an unstoppable point in this comic. He just zipped around and bit everybody, which kind of sucks because you wouldn't even see him coming. You would just be doing dishes and all of a sudden you're like, what the? Number 6, Pietro LENSHERR. We take a step over to another popular version of Quicksilver, this time in the Ultimates, also referred to as Earth 1610. Now this Pietro starts off pretty dark, being the son of Magneto, and in his first Ultimate appearance, he asks Magneto where Charles is, and then in between his next 2 heartbeats, he'll have him wiped out. We love a confident speedster, nice. Magneto tells him to shut up, nice, super nice, awesome, thanks dad, as Charles would have his mind closed down before he would be halfway across the Pacific Ocean. So he wants to get him, but what? He's like, hey, listen, you're strong and you're quick, but he's stronger, so don't even try. So this family dynamic is a big, harsh, weird thing. And to make this version even more wacky, he's romantically involved with his sister, Wanda Maximoff. They're linking hands in one cover. It's not like this, like that. So there's some love in there. Ooh, weird. So he's a little protective, you know, more so than the usual this time around. Number 5. Bolt. Making his first appearance in Earth X issue 1 back in the late 90s, Bolt is a version of Quicksilver that is perhaps the most interesting, I think. Being of course the fact that he's not a real person and rather a robot. Yeah, let's break this one down. So after the Avengers were all wiped out by the Absorbing Man in Washington, one of the few survivors was that of Tony Stark. So he was in charge of creating the Iron Avengers. This was on behalf of President Osborn. Yeah, I told you, it's kind of wild. So this robot named Bolt was given the personality of Pietro Maximoff and also super speed. So it was like he was back, only now he needs a software update once every while. And he has the added perks of Iron Man technology in case he's really in a pickle. Another survivor was the Vision, who naturally led the team of the Iron Avengers. Number 4. Brother Mutant. The Fantastic Four are pretty amazing. I mean, all those powers in one family. I mean, way to go super genes, hell yeah. But imagine if one person had the power of 4 superheroes. What would that look like perhaps? Well, for starters, it would look kind of something like Brother Mutant. Brother Mutant is one of those answers. He was only in the comics for a little bit, from Exiles 85 to Exile 86. So Brother Mutant is Magneto, Wolverine, Mesmero, and Quicksilver all merged into one being. Powers included. Yeah, look out. A bunch of James Howletts from other realities were sent in by the Time Breakers to take down Brother Mutant, but of course they failed because obviously they failed. I mean, where do you even start? A group of Wolverines plus the Exiles was the only thing that it took to make sure this 4-piece combo from hell never walked again, and it sure wasn't easy. Number 3, Peter Magnus. Making his first debut in X-Men Noir issue 1, and yes, you already know it's about to be pretty dark. Released in 2009, Peter Magnus plays a former college track star, obviously, who works in the homicide department of the NYPD with his father, Eric Magnus. See, Eric was the chief detective and the leader of the Brotherhood. And honestly, seeing the X-Men in the 1920s with a great amount of them unaware of their abilities, even Peter doesn't know how fast he is. He just thinks he's pretty fast, you know? Being a track star in his youth and all that jazz, I mean, where do you go from there? The city's corrupt, all thanks to his father and that Brotherhood, and poor Peter just gets treated as the middleman, and he's not even that fast. So this is dark in every way. Number 2, NESTOR. Coming from Earth TRN 225, NESTOR is a mysterious figure. See, there isn't a lot to know about him, but what we do know is pretty intimidating. So this is an unknown alternate future where Quicksilver is said to be far more powerful than our 616 Quicksilver, because this time around he's inherited some of his father's magnetic abilities. So way back when Quicksilver was down in the dumps because his wife and child left him, he was a knight of Wondergore. Then this NESTOR figure appeared in front of him and said to let go of all these earthly attachments and reach your full potential. And then Sir Ram walked in on this conversation, but NESTOR had vanished. Interesting, okay. He's like, hey, who are you talking to? No one? All right. Cheers. He appeared again before Pietro, but this time while Pietro was kept as a prisoner in the Acolyte's dungeon. So NESTOR appeared and told him to focus and have faith in his powers, and he did so. NESTOR told him that in order to win the coming war, he would need to embrace the ways of his father. And NESTOR remained this mysterious speedster until John Ostrander himself confirmed in forum posts that he is indeed a alternate future version of Quicksilver. So of course we had to throw NESTOR into the mix. Number 1, Ralph Bohner. Bohner with an H, so you know, it's fun for the kids. Perhaps the darkest and worst version of the speedster I've seen in all of my days, the grand reveal in the finale of WandaVision, which was an amazing show, was that Pietro was in fact not from the X-Men universe, and that the merger is in fact not beginning. Rather, that was just a pawn of Agatha Harkness, who just happened to look like the actor Evan Peters. He was a Westview resident that was trapped in Wanda's hex, and Agatha used him as eyes and ears to get close to Wanda during these sitcom episodes. He came in at the end of episode 5, the internet exploded, and then come episode 9, the internet exploded yet again, when it was revealed that the powers of Quicksilver were just given to him through some magic beads. Magic beads! I'm not really a beads guy, but if I ever saw these ones, I'd wear all the magic beads. I'd have the doors with the beads, and you walk in, and then all of a sudden, you're the Scarlet Speedster, or any speedster from any universe. I don't care. Give us anything at this point, just not a boner joke. You know, well guys, there you have it. Which version of Quicksilver is your favorite? Honestly, my heart is still hurting from the latest version of Quicksilver to appear in live action, but I have nothing but hope now going forward, as I hope you guys do as well. I'm still kind of hoping that he's from the X-Men universe, or that they just maybe don't want to open that bottle quite yet, or maybe it all means nothing and our existence is useless. Stay tuned. I've been your host, Taylor McWatters. Thank you so much for watching Top 10 Nerd, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.